Heyo everybody, Haku here with a Tower of God discussion that I've been trying to record for like a week, ever since I read chapter 509, but after reading 510, the contents of this discussion haven't really changed. And I want to talk about the Baam and White fight through the lens of character agency, and at least for this video I'm going to be sort of defining character agency as how much a character's actions and decisions and thoughts actually influence what happened in the story, and to do so I'm going to compare it to the Baam versus Data Zahard fight. And this was inspired by a comment, a really great comment that came from Slayer nominee, so thank you to them, because they compared it to the Baam versus Data Zahard fight, and that made a lot of things click for me as to why I and seemingly so many others are kind of having issues with the Baam and White fight. Again, the Baam and White fight, to me, from what I have seen, not from just me, not from just other Tower of God YouTubers, but from the comments and the responses to my videos, things that I've seen people saying on Twitter, it's been highly, highly criticized, and yet Baam fought against Data Zahard. Baam fought against the Data, sure it was the regular version of him, but of the guy who was going to be king of the tower, of another irregular, and Baam did really well against him, arguably beat him. I mean, I feel like Baam came out on top in that scenario, so that fight was highly, highly praised. So what's the difference there? And that's where I want to get into character agency. And I guess to start it off, I will actually tell how that sort of corresponds to the Baam and Data Zahard fight. So when Baam first met Data Zahard, he was overwhelmed. He like screamed in fear. He was terrified of this guy. He didn't even understand how his powers worked. He was so outmatched by what Data Zahard was. But then he went away with Kunedwan for a month. And a month really isn't that long a time in the scale of Tower of God. But after that month, he was able to come back and fight against him. And again, even overpower him at points. So why was that not heavily criticized in the same way that Baam versus White now is? And again, I think that's because the reason Baam was able to stand against him in that short of time came from Baam's own thoughts and actions. First of all, he trained for a month with Kunedwan. So again, that is his hard work. Secondly, he learned that what Data Zahard was doing was using Shinwan Ryu, or Shinsu Black Hole Sphere, internally to strengthen his body. He learned new things and was able to use that knowledge to do better in his fight against Data Zahard. And thirdly, he was able to learn about and accept and open up and start using his own power. He was able to finally make some character growth and some peace with who he was as Juvial Grace and who he is now, and start tapping into his own power. So again, these things, the way that Baam fought against Data Zahard came from his hard work, his knowledge, and his decisions that he made. Whereas Baam fighting White now, Baam, when he first went up against White, was overwhelmed. Again, Hand Collector White was going crazy. And it was clear that Baam was being outmatched. But now, Baam is like totally calmly overpowering him, and he's doing so without really busting out the red and blue Thrissa transformation, without activating the second Thorn fragment that we know of. I've seen a lot of people arguing. So this is like a new power. This is just him tapping into God powers. And a big reason that I think it's very much worthy of criticism is Baam did not work harder than White for this. If we saw Baam over the 3 years training with Evankel just come back in Season 3 and be high ranker level, then it'd be like, oh yeah, he just got that strong over the 3-year time skip. We could assume then that it was because of his hard work. But no, this has just happened basically instantly. It's not him going back to the training he had. It's just a power up for the sake of having God powers. This is not from Baam's hard work. Baam isn't outsmarting White here. This is not from Baam being big brain, because one thing that I like in fights is the idea that anyone can beat anyone if they have a good enough plan or preparation. A great example of that is Khun being instrumental in taking down Windbird Dakoko. That was a really good sort of application of the idea that if you have the right plan, you can beat a much stronger opponent. Even though it's not really like a one-on-one fight, but you get the point. So Baam isn't beating White here because he worked harder than White, it's not because he outsmarted White, and it's not because of the decisions he made. If anything, the decisions he's making here are kind of what White wants. Corrupting himself, tapping into these sort of darker powers, deciding within himself that he's going to give up on his friends, or that he regrets meeting his friends and doesn't want to travel with them because it means so much trouble for them. His decision to give up on being right there, being able to go and try to save Jinsung, to go back and fight White instead when he has no guarantee of success in a fight against White. It's not because of the decisions that he's made. It's just happening. He's just beating White because, hey, pull out some god powers. He's an irregular. And that's not great storytelling, honestly. It can make sense logically, but it's not great storytelling. And I've used this example like twice in the past. If some random new character showed up and shot and killed Baam, that would be terrible. Everybody would hate that. Nobody wants to see that. But you could be like, well, it makes logical sense because Levin shot and killed a guy in season 1 and Baam isn't bulletproof, and like, you can try to justify it like that, but that doesn't make it good writing. And I think that's the issue with the Baam and White fight here as compared to the Baam and Data Zahard fight. People loved that fight because Baam was our main character who earned his new level of power, who earned that win. Right here, Baam isn't really earning this win against White. He's just sort of doing it. And I think that there are a lot of ways that could have been fixed. Like I said, Baam just shows up in Season 3 and is super powerful. And we can assume that all that development happened off screen. A lot of people wouldn't like that, but, you know, logically within the context of the story, it would make more sense. Rather than him coming back after this time skip, and then, you know, it might be 2 years. I've been saying 3 years this whole time. But him coming back after this time skip and then being like, I'm not strong enough. Here's the red Thrissa transformation. Here's the blue Thrissa transformation. Let's just pull out random god powers. I think that maybe Baam should have just been this strong all along, because, again, to me, it's not necessarily that Baam is too strong too early, given that, again, we're going to be dealing with Ariehon by the time we get to the 100th floor, which isn't all that much further by now. So it's not that he's too strong too early to me, as much as it's the fact that his strength does not match up with the story that we have previously seen. It doesn't feel earned. And one of the biggest things that 509 left me thinking was Baam making Shinsu reign like he did, like Enryu, but on a much, much smaller scale, is a really big deal that would have been really amazing if it was this big emotional moment that Baam had built up to, where we could all be like, yes, that's our boy, that's our main character. We've seen him go through so much hardship and so much struggle, and he has earned this and we're behind him, but instead he just pulls it out of nowhere, seemingly with no work to get to it, and it's like, well, he's just pulling out god powers. So I mentioned this. So 3 other criticisms before I end this. I've basically gotten my point across and then kept on rambling since then in terms of the comparing of Baam versus White to Baam versus Zahard. I probably could have made this much more succinct, but I'm just talking off the top of my head. 3 other issues that people have brought up that I also sort of agree with, and I brought this up in the most recent reaction too. First of all, something I've been saying like this entire time, the entire purpose of this arc was Baam going to collect allies to save Jinsung. Baam having to accept that he's going to have to risk his own life to save Jinsung. Baam realizing that he's going to have to sacrifice other people to save Jinsung. People realizing that he's going to have to kill people who aren't necessarily bad people, they're just his enemies, they're just on the other side, to save Jinsung. And then when he has a chance to go save Jinsung. Ari is even telling him to go do it. He turns back to fight White when he has no guarantee that he can beat him, and if he loses, all of those sacrifices were for nothing. So again, maybe that's where things need to go. Maybe he needs to not save Jinsung so that it's proven that all their sacrifices were for nothing because he made the wrong decision. Another issue people have brought up that I agree with is that the Prince and Ackraptor stuff would have added a lot more to Baam and Rachel's relationship than to Baam and White's. I never saw White killing Prince as, oh, White is so evil. I more saw it of him acting on Rachel's orders. Sure, he did that himself, but he was working for Rachel at the time. And Rachel's straight up just the one that killed Ackraptor. White really didn't have anything to do with that. So I think it would have been more impactful for Baam and Rachel's relationship than for Baam and White. So again, maybe that's another reason that the Baam and White stuff came at the wrong time. And as for where I think that this needs to go, in order for, again, it to not be bad writing, because you can't call something bad writing when we don't know where it's going. It could be going somewhere that makes total sense, and a place that I think makes total sense for it to go is for us to be shown, at least in some small way, like, even Baam himself doesn't need to be shown that yet, but we as readers need to at least be shown in some small way that Baam made the wrong decision. Whether that's this whole raid failing and them not rescuing Jinsung dying anyway, whether that's Baam being separated from his friends and being Edgelord Baam for a little while. Either way, or if there's another way to do it, that's fine too. Jinsung doesn't have to die. Baam can still continue with his friends. We just need some small acknowledgement that Baam's decisions here were not the right ones. That Baam went back on himself. That Baam sort of got distracted from his purpose when he didn't need to. We need some sort of acknowledgement that this wasn't the right move, even if things do work out. I think that's really all we need. And again, even then, if we get that and it's not really like bad writing, it's leading to something, it means something, I do still think that the timing of this could have been much better. It probably should have come at the end of the arc, maybe, is what I see a lot of people saying. I do think the timing is still a bit sloppy. In the way that, again, like I mentioned throughout this video, Baam just pulled out the power-up without working for it, without earning it. Even though it makes sense, it totally makes sense, it's still, from a writing perspective, though it makes sense, it's kind of sloppy. I think that that'll still always be an issue. But yep, that's it. Video turned out to be a much longer discussion than I had anticipated, but I rambled on about a lot of different thoughts. So either way, I hope you did enjoy at least hearing me talk about this series some. And if you want to talk about more, again, or talk about the series more with me, I always try to talk as much as I can with everybody in the comments, though I have been busy and will be busy for the next couple weeks. Just comment down there, we can talk there. Let me know what you thought of the discussion and everything, what your thoughts are and all that, like if you did like the video, of course. And if you want to talk on Discord, the server's free and open for anyone. All you've got to do is ask and I can give you a link to it. If you want to talk on Twitter, you can just follow there. Or if you want to help support the channel on Patreon to help me continue to make videos, it's patreon.com/Haku of the tubes, or a link will be in the description. Either way, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.